Hey guys, Max here for the Destructoid show, and as you may or may not be aware, the Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning demo has dropped this week, and that's for PC, PS3, and Xbox 360. It's a free demo, anybody can go check it out, but I figured I would give you guys my impressions of it, so let's take a look.
Starts out, we get a nice juicy prologue cutscene. Basically, this magical ageless fae guy named Gadflow shows up, and he's got lots of magic, and he's kind of a dick, and he's got these followers called the Dtoid, and they're all a bunch of dicks too. And they heard somewhere that a new god was going to be born, so they decided to wage war on all the young races, which are like all non-magical races, I guess. So everyone in this world really believes in fate and destiny, and this was scary because it happened and therefore was supposed to happen. But then all of a sudden your character, died, and then that shakes everything up. The story so far seems sort of like somewhere between the Bible and Lord of the Rings, but with some Star Wars Episode 1 prophecy thrown in there. Mystical people supposed to realign the destiny of the fates or whatever. Now, next thing we know, we're following a couple little people. I guess they're gnomes, but I could be wrong, and they are in charge of dumping corpses into the Well of Souls, where corpses go, I guess. The corpse they happen to be carting at this exact moment is you. And, what do you know? Character creation. Now, obviously, like with most character creation, you can, pick from your race and your sex and your class and all that. I decided to make a Docklefar girl with a blonde pixie cut. The Docklefar, I guess, are sort of like dark elves. And I decided to give her a facial tattoo so that she's scary like Gorbachev or Mike Tyson. Let's just name her Ralph. That sounds about right. Now, long story short, you wake up in a pile of corpses because they thought you were a corpse a minute ago, and you're forced to go through these catacombs, and first thing you want to do is find a sword. So there you go, you get a sword, and then you fight some rats, and then you wind up rescuing one of the gnomes from some Tuatha soldiers. And that's sort of where the story picks up. He gives you some expository dialogue and sends you in search of some other gnome to talk to. Now, obviously, the first part of the game is sort of a thinly veiled tutorial. If you've played any kind of open-world RPG before, this will probably seem pretty familiar. The various elements of play are explained to you gradually. The combat itself is pretty simple. You've got two main attacks. You've got a primary attack and a secondary attack, and these are basically two of the face buttons, which can be mapped to any one of your weapons. It's not like one's stronger than the other. They're just kind of your two attacks. There are also, of course, stealth takedowns, which are successful or not based on your sneaking ability and what direction the enemy is facing. This is RPG stealth, not stealth game stealth, but it's still pretty cool. The little eyeball above enemies' heads fills up gradually with red, and if it turns fully red, that means they see you and they will try and kill you. Now here we are. The main quest takes us to this gnome professor. He gives us our next quest, which is leave, and then stares at my ginormous elf tits. I took my shirt off earlier. I don't know why. So as you make your way out of the crappy gnome fortress Well of Souls, you will encounter some giant spiders, and you will kill them because this is an RPG, and that's what you do in RPGs. And then you get to a rock troll, who is sort of a mini-boss before you leave. Now, based on these fights and some of the fights I had while previewing the full game, I was extremely pleased because there's a good variation in the size of enemies. It's not just like you're fighting all things that are your size. Some of them are actually pretty big, and the combat system is tight enough that it's actually enjoyable to do, even if you're up against larger enemies. And here we are in the overworld, in the main outdoors, the forest of nature. And the game opens up a bit, and we get to see exactly how pretty it is when you're not in a dungeon. We're also going to level up here, and this starts by picking a skill to upgrade. This is all stuff like speech or sneaking or crafting. I picked item location or whatever, which lets you find hidden items more easily. And then you get to upgrade your abilities, which are your combat skills. The square tiles are all passive upgrades, like your swordsmanship or whatever, something like that. And then the circular tiles represent new attacks that you can learn that can actually be bound to buttons. Here I'm picking Harpoon, which is exactly what it sounds like, Scorpion's Harpoon from Mortal Kombat. And then there's Shadow Flare, which is sort of like a puff of knockout smoke that stuns enemies, and then you can sort of follow up by throwing daggers through that, sort of a two-part attack. And then earlier in the game I actually unlocked the Stormbolt attack, but I'm just going to level up that. Now, you can see me using a few of the attacks here. Obviously, since they're magic, they're going to use up some of my mana, which is obviously the blue bar in the corner. That's fun. Then, of course, you get your special power, which is when you enter Reckoning mode. This is done on consoles by pounding down on both the triggers, and everything goes slow motion, gets all blue, and all the enemies slow down, and you can beat the shit out of them. And then you sort of get to do like a little quick time event, and it has you pounding Y to get an experience bonus after beating up all the guys. And you activate the Reckoning mode by filling up your Fate meter, which is the purple bar in the corner. So there's that. Now I'm going to talk to this guy, Agarth, who gives me further exposition and points me onward in my quest. And he is also drunk, I think. I unlock a new destiny, which is a big part of the game. Depending on which destiny you have equipped, you get different stats improved. It's like a modular class system, kind of. And that's one thing that's really cool about how Amalur is. It's the class system is very flexible. If you want to, kind of switch horses midstream, metaphorically speaking, you can go to a Fate Weaver and completely break down your skill tree and reassign all of your perks if you feel like doing that. So after talking to Agarth, you've got 45 minutes of free playtime in the realm of Odorarth, in the lands of Dalentharth. So I'm going to head into town, where there are a number of side quests to check out, presumably, people to talk to. I started with the investigation of the stabbing of an innocent fae. The fae are the magic folk, as you might have gathered, and they are kind of a minority, I guess, which then led me to talking to another mysterious fae lady in the woods, who then sent me on a quest for a healing potion from the apothecary, and the lady at the apothecary sent me in search of her apprentice, who I guess had run off into the woods for whatever reason, and from there I was in search of drug shipments that needed destroying. And then I had to fight some bandits. So that was basically it. Then I did that, and I destroyed all the drugs, and then I returned to the apothecary, and I got some money and some potions. And there you have it. It's kind of an RPG with side quests. I don't know, it's got a main quest too. It's got a lot going on here. When I first previewed the game, I was sort of dumped into it, playing as a character who was already level 20, and I hadn't had any part in the creation of the character or picking, perks or anything like that. And on top of that, it was in the middle of the story. And at that point, the game itself had been really hyped up as this massive, epic, open-world game, and I think all of these factors had sort of a negative effect on my first impressions. So yeah, based on my time with the demo, I actually quite like Kingdoms of Amalur. It's a very tight, very competent little game. It's not quite the scale of the Elder Scrolls, so hyping up the fact that Ken Ralston was involved, I think, might disappoint some people. But by all means, go check out the demo. That's free to check out right now, so go do that.
So there you have it. That is the Kingdoms of Amalur demo. Again, that is a free thing that you at home can go download on your Xbox 360, PS3, or PC. The game itself comes out February 7th in the States and February 10th in Europe. Did you guys play the demo? What did you think? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. It's youtube.com/Dtoid. As always, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at Dtoid Show, and I am at Max Scoville. And stay tuned right here for more coverage as we get it.